so let's get started. So I'm going to start off with really prepping my skin. That's probably like the most important part about like your wedding day makeup. And I don't only mean prepping in terms of like primer, I also mean in terms of skincare. So far I have exfoliated my skin, I moisturized, and I put on some eye cream. So I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to use these eye gels. These are the South Main eye gels. I just got these in my BoxyCharm. And basically what these do is they reduce like puffiness under your eyes, they help moisturize. Alright, so that feels super nice and super cold. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to go into the eye makeup. So as you guys probably saw from the title, we are recreating Deepika's wedding look. So that's her wedding look right there. You guys see that? So this is like goals, guys. Like this is the kind of makeup look that I like the most, like a bronzy glowy look. I'm going to take my Huda Beauty concealer, the Overachiever concealer. And this is in the shade Sugar Biscuit. Just on my eyelids like that. And now because this look is very bronzy and warm, we want to make sure that everything we're using is like a warm tone. So I'm going to take my Sigma Warm Neutrals eyeshadow palette. And I'm going to go into Toasty, which is right here. And I'm not setting my eyelids or anything because they typically don't get too oily for me. But if your eyelids get oily, then just make sure that you set it. Alright, next I'm going to go into the color Henna, picking it up on the same brush. And I'm just going to pat it to the outer corner and slowly bring it into the crease. And then also focus it in the inner corner. And then I'm just going to take a clean brush. This is the Morphe M441. Mentioned this in my Sephora haul. It's a new brush. If you guys haven't checked that out, then I'll leave it down below. Definitely check it out. Mentioned like a lot of new makeup. And we are just going to buff that out. And if you feel like you have any patchiness, just take a little bit of Toasty and just go over the edges. That will help to blend out the eyeshadow. So if you look at her picture, she obviously has bigger eyes than I do, but she has like that little, hold on, let me get it. You guys see she has that little pop of highlight in her lid. So we're going to try to replicate that. So I have this eyeshadow. It's the Tom Ford Cream and Powder Eye Color in Naked Bronze. Guys, if you like bronzed looks, you guys need this eyeshadow. This is like the mother of all bronze shades. Like this is perfect. It's not too cool, not too warm. It's the perfect bronze shade. So I'm going to take a little bit on my finger. I feel like that's the best way to apply it. And then I'm going to go into this color, which is called Bittersweet right here. It's like that pretty gold shade. Just going to take like a touch of it and put that in the center of my lid. So you guys see there's a little bit of a pop. That's kind of replicating what she had on her eyelids. Alright, so now we're going to do our brows. And my brow is a lot like higher from the point here than Deepika's is. Hers is a little bit more like rounded. So I'll try my best to mimic that, but I don't know if it's going to suit my face shape. So we're just going to go with the flow and see what happens. They're like perfectly shaped. Mine are not. I actually have not got my brows done in a while. So this is kind of like a rough layout of the brows. We are going to clean them up later, but we can go ahead and remove the eye patches now. So now we're going to go into prepping our skin. So when you look at Deepika's picture, she basically has like the ideal complexion. Like no joke. It's perfectly set everywhere. It's matte where it needs to be, but then again, it's also very glowy. So that's the key when you're doing makeup, especially bridal makeup. You want to look glowy, you want to look natural, and you want to look fresh, but you also want your makeup to stay and you want it to look not greasy. So to replicate that, what we're going to do is we're going to use an oil to prime. So I have the Smashbox Primer Oil, and this is a really nice priming oil because this actually makes your skin so oily. I mean, not oily, glowy. So I'm just going to take a little bit of the oil. Don't put too much, just put a couple of drops. If you're oily, maybe use a little bit less, but if you're dry like me, you could get away with using a little bit more. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and color correct a little. I'm going to use the Bobbi Brown Skin Serum Corrector. Again, I'm not going to apply a lot. I'm just literally going to apply like just a couple of dots, just so that we don't look ashy. Okay, next we're going to go into these Marc Jacobs Dewdrops. So looking at her picture, it looks like she has it in the high points, a little bit around her nose, forehead, and like on the center of her nose. Okay, so there we go. You guys can see it looks extra glowy. So we're gonna go into foundation now, and this is why I did all the prep, because I am going to use a matte foundation. So obviously with your wedding, like, you don't want to be sitting there touching up your makeup 24/7. You want to like be able to be free and have fun. And for it to look perfect in photography as well, it's very important to have very flawless looking skin. So I find that matte foundations give the most flawless finish, especially in photography. So I'm going to be using one of my favorite foundations, the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte. So I'm going to put a little bit of this on the back of my hand. I'm going to just mix a little bit of that oil that we used to prime earlier into the foundation. Always start with less and then build it up. And then take a beauty blender and pick up whatever is left on the hand. And just apply that over. You know what I forgot to put on, guys? I forgot to put on contacts. I was supposed to wear contacts because Deepika always has really pretty light eyes. So I figured with a bronzy look, like, contacts would look perfect. Maybe I'll do that after I blend. Oh my god, that was really painful, guys. I can't even see. Note to self, if you decide to do bridal makeup or any sort of makeup, don't forget to put your contacts in. I need like a minute. I'm like blind right now. Totally blind. So basically, because I cried so much during this process, some of my foundation came off, so I'm going to go in with a little bit more. I'm just going to pounce it on my face again. So I'm going to take the Huda Beauty Sugar Biscuit Concealer again, and I'm going to use that as my concealer. And this I'm going to apply generously because Deepika has a really bright under eye. Like, it is bright. It actually goes all the way into the like inside of her nose. Not like that inside, like this inside. God, I can't speak. The side of her nose. So I am going to be generous with this concealer. Now we're just going to go into setting the face. So I'm going to use my Huda Beauty baking powder. Most favorite baking powder of all time. Okay, so I dusted it off the outer corners pretty quick. Just going to leave it baking on the inner corners. I'm going to go into the bronzing slash contouring now. My favorite part of makeup in general. And I'm so excited because she has a contour, okay? Like, look at that picture again. Like, she has a contour, okay? So we're going to replicate that. So I'm going to start off by using my Ride or Die, my Laura Mercier Baked Bronzer. So this is the Matte Radiance Baked Powder in Bronze 04. So it's basically, mine is all beat up and stuff, but it looks like that. It's a really pretty tone. I'm going to take my all-time favorite bronzer brush, which is the Sigma F10. I'm going to pick up some of this powder and I'm going to carefully start contouring it. So if you don't have a brush that looks like this, where it's nice and tapered and it's also kind of flat but then kind of fluffy to the point where it blends out nicely, you have to be careful with how you apply it because she literally only has the contour from here going up. She does not have anything below it. So when you are applying it, you need to make sure that you're not bringing it down. So that's why I love this brush, because it's just perfect, like in terms of fitting into your cheek and applying the product. You don't really need to work with it too much. Because we're going to be doing the hair parted, I want to make sure that I'm getting into the hairline so that you don't see any lines. So surprisingly, for as bronzed this look is, I feel like I only need the one bronzer because it's still pretty natural. I'm going to go in with my Kevyn Aucoin sculpting powder in medium. This is like a little sample size I've had that's lasted me forever. And I'm just going to pick up a little bit, really lightly. Just go ahead and apply that into the hollows of my cheek. And then I'm going to take my Huda bronzer, and I'm going to use this for my nose contour because I love how this bronzer contours my nose. It's like the perfect shade, perfect color, perfect everything. So I'm going to take the F10 again. I'm just going to hold it from like the actual brush part, like right there. Just going to pinch it slightly and go along the sides of my nose. She has a very long, very thin nose. Super lucky girl. I don't. So we are going to actually take the Kevyn Aucoin powder. I'm going to shade closer so that it looks thinner. Alright, so I think it's time to dust this off now. I'm going to just take the same baking powder and clean up the contour a little. And immediately going to dust it off. Okay, so my lashes are on, finally. So I'm going back into the Sigma Warm Neutrals palette. I'm going to take any one of those blending brushes I was using before and take Toasty. And I am just going to buff this under. So she has like the whole under eye like buffed out, and I like doing that too up until the crease. So I have this pencil from Marc Jacobs. It's like a nice bronzy color. It's in the shade Rococa. I'm just going to line under with this. Also just going to take this nude pencil from MAC. It's in the shade NC30 Studio Chromographic Pencil, and I'm just going to put it in my inner waterline just to open it up, because she definitely has that, like her lower lash line looks really bright. So now we're just going to finish off the face. So she has like, it doesn't really look like she's wearing a lot of blush. So I'm going to take something that's a little bit more nude and more neutral. I'm going to take this Charlotte Tilbury blush in the shade The Climax. It's a very pretty natural color. So I'm going to take that on the Sigma F10 again. And just kind of go there. That's it. She has more of like the highlight, not so much the color. And then for the highlight, it doesn't really look like it's a very like bright gold highlight. It looks kind of more on like the skin tone side. So I'm going to use the Fenty Beauty highlight in Hustla Baby. And I am just going to do the exact same thing. Place it just on the high points. That's it. You guys see that? Alright, so now we just got to finish off with the lips. So I'm going to take this Kylie lip liner in Iced Latte. And then I'm going to take the Anastasia matte lipstick in the color Peachy. This is one of my most favorite lipsticks, and honestly I think it's close to the exact same tone that Deepika's wearing. She's just going to take a little bit of NYX London, just so it's a little bit warmer, and put that over top. Alright, so now I'm just going to take the Tatcha Luminous Dewy Skin Mist, and I'm just going to spray the high points. This just basically just melts everything in. Makes it look very natural, very like skin-like. I'm obsessed. Alright guys, so there you have it. That is the final look. Honestly, I feel like I nailed this pretty well. I don't want to brag. I feel like this look came out so nice. Literally, all I need now is my Ranveer Singh and I'm set. But yeah, all jokes aside, I totally wanted to do this look because bronze looks are honestly one of my favorites. And I feel like not a lot of Indian brides do bronze looks because they're afraid of looking darker or that it's not going to go with the outfit. But honestly, as you guys can see, a bronze look totally does an Indian bride justice. But yeah, so that concludes this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you guys get notified every time I post a video. Also hit the thumbs up so you guys can like this video if you did, and leave me a comment of what you think of this look. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye!